Hello, 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 BookTube. Cheers, Kevin here. How are you doing? Today, we're going to review another book. Now, you may notice behind me, there's room back there, and it's got some acoustic foam and stuff. I was hoping that I might have some bookcases here in time so I could start, doing like proper BookTube. Like, I'm going to stand in front of a bookcase and talk at you that way, but they're not in just yet. So hopefully next week, we'll have some of that. Now, if you've watched any of my videos before now, you probably know this about me. I love audiobooks. I am a fiend for audiobooks. I spend way too much money on audiobooks. I listen to so many audiobooks, and I listen to them at faster speeds and then I can like go for walks and listen to books. I love audiobooks so much. I spend so much time looking at a computer, and then it's like, oh, I can just close my eyes but still be reading. That's perfect. That's heaven for me right now. And so everything that I've reviewed, I listened to the audiobook. There was one I think that I read on Kindle, but no paper books thus far. It is time to break that trend. Today, I had a book that's old, but hey, I'm excited about it. I ordered this. This is Order of the Stick, Dungeon Crawlin' Fools by Rick Burlew. Yeah, see, it's right there where I can read it. Yeah, brilliant. This is not a words book. Well, it is a words. They're words, but they're in boxes. I don't want to say this is a comic book. So this is the first 120, I think. Yeah, first 120 comic strips of Order of the Stick, which is a webcomic from, when was this published? 2006? 2005. I was close. Order of the Stick, you can go ahead and Google it. You can read all of these webcomics, and actually, so 2005, that was, what, 11 years ago? I can math. Yeah, so, where was I? High school, I think? College? I don't know. It was a long time ago. I guess toward the end of high school is when this thing started. And you can see by the beautiful art that it's not like a super fancy webcomic. It's not quite XKCD, but it's a very simple art style. But what this is a webcomic that parodies Dungeons and Dragons and similar type of games. Now, there were a couple of times where I tried to go and read through like the whole series and catch up on the web, but because these are not like 3-strip type of comic, like these are full page, like each of these, like this is a comic, everything, you'd have to scroll down and go next. And I find this really difficult with a lot of different webcomics, that it's very hard for me to keep track of, oh, where was I last time? Especially for things that have like a long history. I would love to like find some way to solve that problem of like, oh, now I just come back and it's like, oh, here's where you left off. You've read through to episode 217. I don't know. Binary search, something. But it also took a long time for the pages to load, and so I would get through like 100 or so, and then I would forget, and then I'd go back and go, oh, where was I? And then I just have to click, and it would just take forever, and I'd eventually give up, which made me sad. But I really, really enjoyed this comic series. I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy the books, and I don't just have this book. I have all of the books. There are 6 of the main series books, and then there are a couple of other books that I probably won't be reviewing, but I'm assuming I've read some of the comics that overlap here. So this was all kind of, I guess, rereading of comics. It also has a couple of some notes from the author. So it has like words from the author talking about kind of what he was going for in terms of the comic. So I felt that this was this was definitely worth the money, because now I can sit back and I can just read it at my own pace, and I'm not going to forget like, oh shoot, where was I? I don't know. So the comic itself follows, as you can sort of make out from the cover, it follows these adventurers, right? So this is a party, and they're going around in a dungeon and killing monsters and collecting treasure and that whole sort of thing. This initially started off, and he actually talks a little bit about this. This started off as just being sort of a dungeon crawl type of adventure. You're following these in-game characters, but they do make jokes about that sort of imply that they're being played by people in a real world sat around some sort of RPG table, rolling dice and stuff. I guess the quintessential joke to sort of get the essence of the type of comedy. And this, so Dungeons and Dragons, a dice-based game. You use dice to go, it's a collaborative storytelling system, but if 2 people disagree or you're trying to do something, you need to roll dice. So you can be like, I killed a monster. You have to roll a die, because otherwise someone else could just be like, no, you don't. How do you resolve that conflict if you're mutually telling stories? This is not a yes and type of situation. No, you roll the dice, and then, oh, look, you did kill the monster, or no, you accidentally punched yourself in the face. That's what happens. It's the joy of Dungeons and Dragons. One of this came out a little bit after D&D 3.5, so they were upgrading some of the rules. The Dungeons and Dragons have got a bunch of different versions. And one of the skills in Dungeons and Dragons 3.5, and I believe in 3 as well, is move silently. So if you're trying to sneak past a bunch of guards, you need to roll a 20-sided die, and you need to get some sort of score based on whatever the challenge may be, maybe against their opposing listen check, which would be another 20-sided die. So you can move silently so that someone doesn't like hear you and go like, oh, hey, there's people clamoring around out there. So one of the ways that they sort of tease at the game in this book is there's a little bit where a bunch of them are all like, we got to sneak by these monsters so they don't notice us. And they go, okay, everybody roll your move silently check. And someone's like, oh, I got a 16, I got a 17, I got a 5, I got a 4. I hope I didn't peek the mic there, but that's the type of joke that that you try and move silently, you rolled badly, and so you screamed your result. I found it very funny. It does take me back to times of playing a lot of RPGs, which was fun. Playing tabletop games is a lot of fun. It's something I'd like to do more of. But this eventually does turn into kind of a story in and of its own. So it's not just a, hey, let's lampoon kind of the rules heavy ways that we handle storytelling, collaborative storytelling. It eventually becomes these characters that both can sort of mock the genre, but also have, personalities of their own and storylines of their own. And obviously that extends into a whole bunch of other books. So this is, I don't remember what I rated it, but I should have rated it like either a 4 or a 5. I don't have a good basis for this type of stuff because I don't read many comic things. I read some Archie comics a long time ago, but that's kind of it for me. But yeah, really, really recommend it. If you pick up the book, you can do that. Otherwise, you can, of course, read all of the Order of the Stick stuff for free. You're just going to have to set some bookmarks to keep track of what you have read. But guys, that is it for me. This has been a nice, very enjoyable read, which has been helpful because I've been also trying to read a bunch of political books, which is just great. It's super fun and not irritating at all. So having these is a nice diversion. Definitely 2 thumbs up for me. One slightly higher than the... No, they're both up. Both of the thumbs are up. I know. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you're enjoying. Let me know what you're thinking of the reviews. Let me know anything that's on your mind. Let me know what you had for breakfast today. I don't know. And I will see you soon. Cheers.